All right. So then after you took all the soldiers back to the Philippines, did you have any other duties, or was that kind of the end of your service?
No. I'm trying to think. We took them back to I think mostly to the Philippines, and then they had to get all the air crew from Philippines back to the United States, and so they had long lists being on the going back, and my name appeared at the top of one of the lists for navigators because the navigator that was assigned to that spot got sick, and they had to have another navigator, so then they got my name in there. So he came back, and then they put me on a crew, and after a couple islands, they got me back to California.
Very cool. So, do you remember what it was like when the war ended? So when we found out that we won World War II?
Well, no, I don't really remember too much about that. It was confusing to think about that because it was not organized, and you were in an organization that either they wanted you to stay there, or they wanted you to come back to the States and resume your life, or whatever they wanted to do. And as I say, I wound up by accident as a navigator on another crew, so I got back to California ahead of all the rest of my crew, and then went through the routine of paperwork and got discharge papers and got my discharge from California instead of waiting till I got back to Ohio. And I had an aunt, an uncle, and a couple of cousins that lived in L.A., and so I got my discharge out there. And then I spent with them a few days with them, and then there were airfields all over the place, and I would check in an airfield to see if they had any room for a navigator, and I finally found one, and so I came back with them and got to California. And then after they got to California, then I just wound up getting home.
Very nice. So once you got home, did you get married, or did you go into work?
Well, let's see, once I got home, I guess I went ice skating. When I came out of the service, I was still living on the east side in Cleveland Heights with my mother, who I think she had remarried at that time, and she was happy with her life in Cleveland Heights, and so I stayed with them until I met my wife ice skating, and then we started going together, and at that time she was skating 3 times a day. She'd skate in the morning with one group, and she skated around noon with another group, and one with the afternoon, and sometimes one in the evening.
Wow.
Because the skating rinks were in demand at that time, and so she got into different groups, and she liked to skate, and she was a very good skater.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we met. And so we started hanging out together, and one thing led to another, and I gave her a box of chocolate candies for her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a heart shape. And so in the box of candy, I taken out the one, and I put a ring, the engagement ring in the candy box. And so that created some excitement. And then as time moved on, they had my mother had a party for her in the backyard, and I guess that you have for engaged couples or something. And from then on, I guess we were married.
Did you have any kids, or?
Yes, we had 9.
Wow.
We had 3 boys and 6 girls.
Wow, that's a big family.
Pretty good size.
So, was it difficult to readjust back to normal life? So, like to start a family and everything after being in the service, or fairly easy?
Well, it's difficult because there's so many different ways to go. And I can remember a couple places where we lived, and then I got a job selling something on the road, and I was doing some traveling, and I did that for a while, and I guess I did that until we had signed up for a house in Parma Heights, and I think it was Parma Heights, and either Parma. I think it was first. It was on the near west side, and then I knew some other folks. They were same age and same education that were buying these 1-floor basementless jobs in Parma Heights. So we went over there. We liked the looks of them, and so we signed up for one. And that's how we started out in Parma Heights. And it's been a very nice trip since then. And unfortunately, my wife is not with us anymore. I can't remember. We were married for 70 or 80 years, something like that.
Wow.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
And then we lived on the near west side. I can't think of the name of the nursing home, but it was part of a group of 4 or 5 nursing homes, and then I guess that that's when I guess we were signed up to come out here